Welcome to this explainer. Imagine for just a second, a room where a relationship dies. Usually, right, we picture shattered glass, raised voices, maybe slammed doors, tearful confrontations. But what if there was no noise at all? What if a marriage fell apart without a single sound? Just this absolute suffocating silence. Today, we're exploring a deeply chilling phenomenon observed over in Japan, where marriages are crumbling in total silence. It's mysterious, it's fascinating, and honestly, it completely challenges everything we think we know about how human relationships actually come to an end.
Section 1. The Silent End. Okay, let's dive right into this.
Most men don't fight for it. They just stop. Just imagine the sheer emotional weight of that. You're in a partnership. The connection is clearly slipping away, and instead of a massive blow-up or, a passionate plea to fix things, your partner just gives up. They don't fight to save it. They literally just stop trying entirely.
There's no argument. There's no ultimatum given at all. Usually, when a relationship is in deep trouble, conflict is kind of the sign that at least some passion, some care, or maybe some desperate desire to change the situation still exists, right? But here, we see a complete lack of conflict. It's a spouse simply ignoring texts about weekend plans or quietly refusing to even acknowledge the idea of couples therapy. And I find it so fascinating to consider how that absolute absence of a fight is, in a lot of ways, much more unsettling than the presence of one. The resistance is just completely gone. So, what does this actually look like day to day? Well, it breaks down into this really bleak, repetitive routine. Step 1, come home. Step 2, eat in absolute silence. Step 3, sleep in a separate room. You can almost feel the heavy, oppressive atmosphere of that disconnected cycle, can't you? And the most shocking part? This isn't just a rough month of giving each other the silent treatment. No. This can literally go on for years.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really sharp paradox. Technically, the marriage is alive. On paper, it exists. The documents are all signed and filed. But emotionally, everything is dead. The communication and the warmth are completely gone. The contrast between that legal reality remaining perfectly intact and the total emotional void inside the home is just incredible to think about.
Which brings us to Section 2, Katana Recon Defined.
Because this disturbing silence isn't just some isolated random thing. The Japanese actually have an official term for this exact dynamic, katana recon, which translates directly to in-house divorce. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the massive cultural weight behind that phrase. A standard divorce implies a total separation, right? A legal and physical split where two people pack up and go their separate ways. But here, the emotional marriage is completely severed, while the physical residency remains exactly as it was.
Section 3. Logistics of living together.
The logistics of how two people actually pull this off are completely bizarre. They remain legally married, they keep the exact same address, they continue to raise the kids together, and they do all of this while living like two strangers sharing a space. Imagine the immense logistical tension of actively raising children with someone who is, for all emotional intents and purposes, a complete stranger living right under your roof. You're essentially texting each other to split the electric bill while sitting, 15 feet apart in the exact same living room?
Section 4. Why they don't leave. Let's move on and see how this builds.
If they're essentially strangers living in this incredibly tense environment, why do they stay? Why not just physically leave? Well, so the crucial point is this realization right here. Leaving feels harder than enduring. Let that sink in for a second. Leaving feels harder than enduring. The upheaval, the messy untangling of finances and lives, the pure friction of a traditional exit. They're viewed as obstacles so massive that living in a dead, silent house actually feels like the easier path to take.
So I'll leave you with this. Could you endure a dead marriage just to avoid the hardship of leaving? What would you personally tolerate to avoid a difficult, messy exit? It's a striking reminder of human endurance and, honestly, the deeply complex choices people make behind closed doors. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep wondering, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.